Right, try and picture the scene. Great Britain has just taken on a new government, or at least it's formed a government of a coalition. On one side of that coalition is incredibly hardline Christian religion. Now, on the other side of that coalition is an ultra-nationalist, right? Now, in between this, some of these people within these groups have decided that what they now want to do is push to take away the rights, say, for instance, of LGBT, especially in regard to, say, for instance, healthcare. They want to deny them healthcare because of the Christians in this coalition don't like it. They don't believe in it. It goes against their religious values. Now, if we did this, the entire European community would be up in arms. Probably most of the world would be up in arms about this, okay? They go mental. And probably rightly so, because whether you believe in LGBT or not, the person is still a human underneath all that, and the person is at some point or another likely to need medical assistance. I don't know what for. You know, everybody in their lifetime goes to the hospital or whatever else. So to take that away would be bad, right? And everybody up against it. Well, can you imagine anywhere in the world actually getting away with this? Okay, well, just think about one. Israel doctors condemned hardliners' call to cut healthcare for LGBT plus people. Now, Israel's one of the last places you'd expect to do this because they've had or Jewish people have had their fair share of persecution in the world. God knows. I mean, we get told about it all the way through our growing up at school, all about, say, for instance, the Holocaust. But when you go back, long before the part where they got towards the Holocaust, it started out with persecution against them of certain things. They weren't treated the same. They weren't allowed to do certain stuff. It started out small. Now, I'm not saying for a second that Israel wants to go down a Holocaust road. Not at all. No, let's make that very clear. However, what I am saying is, as a group of, or as a religious group who have had their fair share of persecution against them, they should understand that persecution's a bad thing, correct? Well, let's read on. Two allies of Benjamin Netanyahu and the ultra-nationalist religious Zionism party, try and get that out after a few beers, want to permit discrimination by businesses and doctors. I forgot about the businesses part. Israel's largest medical centre and healthcare workers from hospitals around the country have spoken out against remarks by allies of Benjamin Netanyahu, calling for the law to allow discrimination against LGBT plus people in hospitals and businesses. I don't quite know where it would go to in the businesses, but I've got a rough idea with hospitals. You're not coming in. It was part of a backlash against remarks made this week by religious Zionism politicians calling for legal discrimination against LGBT plus people. Mr. Netanyahu's new government, the most religious and hard line in Israel's history, is made up of ultra-Orthodox parties and ultra-nationalist religious factions. And his Likud, I don't know how you pronounce it, party is to be sworn in on Thursday. Earlier this week, two of Netanyahu's allies from the ultra-nationalist religious Zionism party, yet again, as I say, try getting that one hit, call for change to the anti-discrimination law, I need a drink, to permit businesses and doctors to deny services to the LGBT plus based on religious beliefs. Anywhere else around the globe would try and do that, and they'd have the full force of the international community come down on them. What I want to know is, how will this pan out? Will anybody come out and say anything? A religious Zionist legislator said her party wants to allow religious healthcare providers to refuse to treat LGBT patients so long as there are enough other doctors to provide care. How do you think about that? No, it just isn't right. These people are, whether we agree with them or not, whether we understand where they're coming from or not, whether we're religious or not, they are human beings. Now, here's another thought. What would God think of you? If we're all made in God's image, or if God created all of us, okay, which clearly he did, then surely you as a human can't persecute that human because you've found a reason that you want to. Got to word it very carefully here, as you can imagine. But God didn't teach you to do that, did he? I'm sure he didn't. Just asking, really, because, you know, if you're trying to be very religious, then it doesn't sound the most tolerant, humane, and kind thing to do. You might want to read the paper a bit more, the scriptures and all the rest of it, have a quick look through, and maybe I've got it wrong. I mean, maybe if you're a Jewish person and you know something I've missed, then maybe you could put something in the comments and explain to us how this is a good thing. Because it doesn't seem like a very good thing to me. And if it starts like that, where they start persecuting against the LGBT, where does it go to next? You just don't want to go down this road. It's not a good road to go down. And it doesn't look very good. Now, I understand fully that, say, for instance, if one of us break a UN law or resolution or whatever it is they come up with, then the rest of the UN usually have something to say about this. Although it has been said that in one particular occasion, 1 year alone, that Israel broke over 50 of them, and the rest of the community didn't really have very much to say about it. Why? Were they worried that they might be called anti-Semitic? But if you treat them differently purely because they're Jewish, that in itself is wrong. And that's isolating them because they're Jewish. No, you treat them all equally, don't you? That way we're all the same and there's no persecution. Or am I not getting this? Because it doesn't seem right somehow. Just saying. We're all the same, right? Just saying. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to think that one over. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be interested to hear. This is the second or third time of recording this because the computer decided to cut out the microphone. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll speak to you in a bit.